let's start with the title. Card is not a 4-letter word. Obviously, that's tongue in cheek. But the truth is, for suppliers, and what we want you to walk away thinking is that, card can be an attractive option despite the perception in the market. Card's really a scapegoat. The true 4-letter word is TERM, and that's term. Term is what is truly costing suppliers. Controllers and CFOs, when they think about card, they're comparing it to other modalities, right? And the cost associated with those other modalities that they perceive are less expensive, or in some cases free, right? And that's the big misperception, right? As a result of all this, CFOs and controllers look at card as a cost center. When you think about card, there's the economics and the ergonomic card acceptance, right? And you really have to look at the two of them to get the full picture. The ergonomics of card are vastly superior to every other modality, right? So there's automation associated with card that both the buyer and supplier can reap the benefits of. There's the delivery of data, right? There's this rich data exchange that happens between the two parties. And there's value on both sides of the transaction when it comes to a card payment. Card is a credit tool. It's something that suppliers, they can use a card to accelerate cash and deliver these operational efficiencies. Card has this tremendous customer service value. When suppliers pay that 2.5% to 3%, what they're getting is the surety of being paid. They could also be getting the ability to be paid sooner, right? And this is where the empowerment comes in, right? They're also shifting that burden of credit back to the card issuer. Term is the true 4-letter word here in this equation. Suppliers should be comparing the cost of acceptance with a card to the cost of acceptance with the other modalities, the total AR cost, right? And total AR cost isn't zero. It's just that nobody provides you a statement that says, hey, here's what your total AR cost is. We only provide a statement that says, here's what it cost you to process a card payment. Suppliers kind of embrace term because of tradition. Buyers expect a term. So when you combine the operational components, financing a receivable for 30, 60, 90 days with, either your cash or a line of credit, plus the cost of collection, total AR expense is well above the 2.5% a supplier may pay to accept a card. If you're a supplier, you offer a term to a buyer, there's a lot of costs associated with that, right? So you're decking headcount against that, right? You're financing your receivable 30, 60, 90 days. You've got credit risk, right? You've got bad debt. You're invoicing your buyer. Term is what is expensive, not card. There's a basis point value to a reduction in headcount, right? To a reduction in term by accelerating your cash and working capital, right? There's a basis point value to shifting that burden of credit onto the card issuer, right? And getting that surety of being paid, right? There's a basis point value to eliminate some of the need for collections. Suppliers should say, hey, we will accept a card, but under these parameters, if we get this acceleration. If a supplier wants to reduce their total AR cost, they have to reduce the term.
So Murray spent the time talking about the economics of card, right? But he mentioned the ergonomics. So Murray and I both came from the acquiring space. The solution that they have provided to market is effectively giving the supplier two choices. I can give you a hosted payment page, and you can tell all your buyers to go out there and key that card and put it into that system. That effectively shifts the burden to the buyer. Or I can give you a virtual terminal. So what that means is when your buyers or the banks that represent them pick up the phone and call in, you can key it into your virtual terminal. Or if you get even a card by mail, you could key it into your virtual terminal. So one, I've got a manual process by which I now have to key that card into some sort of system to process that payment. But along with that card is the most important piece alongside of this, which is that rich remittance detail, right? That you guys as a supplier or folks as a supplier need to close out that payment in your ERP. So Visa came out with a program called STP, or straight-through processing. The notion was to reduce the interchange, which they did, right? So they created a very specific category for straight-through processing. They eliminated the manual process of it. But there was something still lagging there that needed to be done. And that was, one, the remittance information. What are we doing with that? Even if you're sending me a straight-through processing, right, transaction, it's going through, it's running the payment, but I'm still getting that remittance information in an email. That means I'm managing my receivables out of Outlook or out of Gmail. So I still have to take that information and get it into my ERP. The second thing it didn't solve for was getting it to scale. So they turned to us, right? And we partnered together with Visa to create the Business Payments Network to not only do straight-through processing, but straight-through posting. So every issuer that exists has their own, or perhaps they use multiple payment instruction templates. So what that means ultimately for these suppliers that are accepting these virtual cards, right, is that they have no normalized experience. Billtrust, being in the accounts receivable automation space for years, our suppliers came to us and said, hey, you've done all of this for me for my AR automation. I'm getting inundated with these virtual cards. So the ultimate goal of the Business Payments Network is to create a true touchless payment experience from the time it's initiated by the buyer till it's posted in that ERP. And we know some suppliers are more conditional in their acceptance than others. And we knew when we took a solution to market, that this one had to be supplier-centric because, again, the incentive sits with the buyer and with the bank. And so if you're already, to Murray's point earlier, you're trying to calculate what is my true cost of acceptance, you're thinking in your mind, well, not only do I have a cost, but I've got an operational process I need to sort out, right? And so we really look at BPN as software for supplier enablement. But we wanted to give these suppliers the tools to manage those conditions, right? So when we launched our software stack, baked within it were the ability to manage certain preferences. So perhaps a certain supplier wanted to take a card from a subset of buyers that they have a great relationship with, right? That spend a lot of money with them. Or perhaps they said, hey, Billtrust, we want you to do a complete integration with our open balance and our AR. And I want to make sure that every single payment that comes through on that card is going to match an invoice in my ERP in an exact amount. And I want you to uphold that. Or maybe they wanted a velocity limit, right? So perhaps anything under $100,000, I'm not taking card for. So our software stack actually manages those preferences, protects the supplier, and ultimately protects any sort of downstream collision that may happen in that ERP. And again, it's all about giving that supplier and empowering them to be able to control that. You know, the overall premise here is that Billtrust is looking to become the future of B2B payments. And we are confident that in order to do that, it has to be a mutually beneficial trade relationship. And really it comes about balancing that ecosystem between the buy side and the supply side.